tell you a story right now. This story is called The Door at the Top of the Stairs. And here it comes. Once upon a time, there were two brothers named Henry and James. And Henry and James lived in a mouse hole in the basement of a very big human house. Now, every day, Henry and James would go on many adventures. They would play with the old toys, climb up the old furniture, and run across the basement floor. But there was one place they could never go, and that was to the door at the top of the stairs. Their mother and father told them never ever go near the door at the top of the stairs. Well, one day Henry and James were rolling the ball back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and the ball took a very bad bounce. Boing, 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 boing. And it rolled and rolled right to the bottom step. Well, they went to get it, and when they did, they looked up and up and up, and there was the door at the top of the stairs. And Henry said, "Look, there's the door." And James said, "Oh, I don't like that door. I don't like that door at all." And Henry said, "Oh, there's nothing to be afraid of." He said, "Yes, there is. Mom and Dad said that there's a monster on the other side of that door." Henry said, "Oh, come on. Don't be silly. There's no such thing." He said, "Yes, there is. Come on, let's go home." He said, "No, you know what? I think we should go and see what's up there." He said, "I don't know. I don't think that we should." He said, "What's the matter? Are you chicken?" He said, "I'm not chicken, I'm a mouse." He said, "No, you know what I mean. Are you scared?" He said, "Yeah, I'm scared. I don't want to go up there." He said, "Come on. It'll be fine." And even though he didn't want to go, he followed his brother. And they went up one step. Then they went up two steps. Then they went up three steps. Then they went up four steps. And when they got to step number 4, the boards creaked under their paws. And James said, "Oh, Henry, come on, let's go home." He said, "No, come on, it'll be fine." And so they went up step number 5, step number 6, step number 7, step number 8. And when they got to step number 8, it was very dark and dusty. And when James went to snip, he got the dust up his nose, and he went, "Ah, ah, 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 achoo!" Whoop. Ah, 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 achoo! Whoop. Ah, 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 achoo! Whoop. He said, "Be careful." He said, "Okay." And so they went up step number 9, step number 10, step number 11, step number 12, unlucky step number 13, and every step they took got them closer and closer to the door at the top of the stairs. And James said, "Oh, Henry, what if it's a bad monster? What if it's a mean monster? What if it's a scary monster?" He said, "Oh, come on, there's no such thing." Exactly. And so they went up step number 14, step number 15, step number 16, till there was one step left. And James said, "Okay, Henry, look, there's the door. I can see it. Let's go home." He said, "No, come on. There's only one step left." And they went up the last step and stood right in front of the door at the top of the stairs. And the door was big and gray and cracked. And there was a beam of light coming from under the door. And Henry said, "I wonder what's over there." And James said, "I already know. It's the monster." He said, "Come on. It'll be fine. Let's go see." And so they wiggled and wriggled underneath the door and came up on the other side. And when they got there, that's when they saw it. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. There were rugs on the floor, paintings on the wall, chandeliers on the ceiling. He said, "See, I told you, there's nothing to be afraid of." And then they turned around. And when they turned around, there behind them stood the monster. And the monster looked at Henry and James, and the monster said one word. Meow. What was it? There's a cat, that's right, and Henry and James went, "Ah!" And they ran on the door, and they tumbled and bubbled and bubbled and tumbled and ran all the way back home. And from that day on, they went on many adventures, but they never went near the door at the top of the stairs ever again. And that is the end.